Remaining hopeful. This is the fifth part of a series of webinars from New EPS, inspired by Opfor et al.'s paper on 5 essential elements of intervention regarding a crisis or an extremely challenging set of circumstances. What is hope? When we think about hope, we might think about being optimistic. We might think about ambition, having a particular goal, something to wish for, to also expect with confidence, having a focus, anticipation, helping to make a tough situation, a tough present situation, more bearable. Within various settings, this is about supporting children and young people, but it's also about supporting staff, supporting adults, supporting those who support schools and other educational establishments, supporting children and young people. It's really vital at such a time, for example, with the global pandemic, with so many changes, so many challenges to transition, so much uncertainty. It's really important that we're able to speak with children and young people and work with them, interact with them, to focus on positive things that they have learned about themselves. It might be particular interests, it might also be coping skills, working together. And the other area, is focusing on strengths. So much emphasis can at times be placed on what is not possible, what barriers might be faced. That's why as staff and as adults supporting children within schools and young people, it's really important that we focus, we change the focus. What's actually going well? What are they actually good at? What do we feel proud of? Just to change that narrative from a downward spiral of weakness or what can't be done and so on. This might be qualities. We've got, for example, teamwork, perseverance, kindness, as well as skills that children and young people can actually show and can actually demonstrate. So it's about really being able to focus on strengths. Also, another way of bringing hope in such a time when transitions and positive transitions are being challenged, another way is to look at projects as well. Doing particular projects can help to provide a focus, and they've also got a benefit as well, because that's something to look forward to, and it's something, maybe it might be to do with, say, the local community and other interactions. And there's something there about doing project work where you have hope that is circling that, and then noticing the surroundings. Surroundings are so important. Surroundings can be quite inspiring, and they can have the opposite effect. That's why surroundings, when you think about the displays and celebrating achievements, the environment that children and young people are learning within, this has an impact on their sense of hope. Another thing about hope, really, is that it's really valuable when we give clear and achievable goals. And if you think about it as well, these goals need to be measurable. There's something there about hope as well, where hope isn't just something that we might call a pie in the sky. It's got to be something that you aim towards. There's got to be something. And also with these goals, we've got to be thinking about and working with children and young people, and thinking about them being clear and measurable, achievable as well, not having a goal or a hope which might well be beyond their particular reach at this time. So it's really important to be clear, measurable, and achievable. And also, it's important to look at positives during challenging circumstances, because it's very easy to fall into that trap of thinking nothing's going to change, it's going to be the same, we're starting again, another new transition, another bubble burst, another school closure, and so on, and another lockdown, and so on. So it's really important that we think about exceptions, and we actually help children and young people to identify exceptions. That is not always a case of this situation, these challenging circumstances are not always there. They're not always, or well, they might well be around, but they're not always impacting them in that same heavy way. So it's really important to be able to focus on different types of strategies, different moments of kindness, of working together, of positive moments that children and young people can look at and think, oh, actually, it's not all about COVID-19. Now, we have to also consider that this is not only about supporting children and young people, it's also about staff as well. And we're often very good at motivating others as staff and as supporting services and practitioners surrounding schools, nurseries, colleges, and other areas, other places of learning. We're very good at promoting hopefulness for others, but it's really vital that we look after ourselves. That's a really key issue here, that we do pay attention to our own strengths. We pick out our own strengths, because we also need to be supported as well as staff. And it's also about this idea of moving forward and making changes, but also being forward thinking, because it's so easy to get trapped into thinking about the past and thinking about, oh, it's another lockdown, oh, it's another burst bubble, or it's another situation that's occurred, and then to get tied into that. But we need to have really sort of like the sort of reflective spaces, I suppose, that will allow us to think about moving forward. And so reflection really is about thinking about what we can learn from a situation, and that helps us to move forward as well. And what you'll also often find when there are challenging circumstances, it's really crucial that we can come together as groups, that you don't feel isolated, as if you're the only person within that classroom working with a child or a young person. You're not the only person who is finding the whole situation challenging in relation to, say, for example, COVID-19. So it's really important that we do come together and be able to reflect and to be able to share and setting goals. That was mentioned before. And just to highlight again that it's not about setting goals that are 3 months down the line. That's what it means here by short-term and long-term. We need to have something to look forward to on an intermittent basis, so that we know that we're making progress, so that we're making steps forward, and also to provide us with a boost. But that's why it's so important to be able to break things down. Now, I would actually suggest that remaining hopeful, when you think about the other areas of intervention and focus, for example, promoting a sense of safety, promoting a sense of control and efficacy, staying connected, cultivating calmness, I would actually say that these are all driven by the whole status of remaining hopeful, being hopeful, remaining hopeful. This, I would say, is a driving force behind positive transitions. behind supporting children and young people, behind supporting staff. Thank you.